India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time the British left, it was down to below 4%. Why? Simply because India had been governed for the benefit of Britain, while taking the Hindi word loot into their dictionaries as well as their habits. By the end of the 19th century, the fact is that India was already Britain's biggest cash cow, the world's biggest purchaser of British goods and exports. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. In fact, Britain's industrial revolution was actually premised upon the deindustrialization of India.
Dr. Zarir Masani.
Well, I come from India, which was the jewel in the imperial crown. I'm going to ask you to bear with me because I'm going to give you some facts and figures. Not hot air, which I'm afraid you've had from here and from there, but some actual facts and figures. I want to put some context to this accusation that the Raj drained Indian resources. The actual drain of home remittances was 1% of net national product. However, it might interest you to know that the Raj actually, I'm just looking for a figure. I want to give a figure which is that the British actually transferred the equivalent of 23 billion pounds worth of capital investments from 1860 to 1913. These were invested in all sorts of industries. India had the largest jute industry in the world, mentioned the textile industry, steel industries, all these things developed. Now, I just want to come on to some infrastructural benefits. It may interest you to know that the Raj, which is accused of deindustrializing India with Manchester imports, actually left India with the world's third largest textile industry. It also created the fourth largest rail network in the world, the largest steel producer outside in the developing world, outside the developed world. These were all immense improvements in the infrastructure which India could later build on and did build on. The textile industry in India took off with British capital and know-how from the 1860s and was supplying the vast majority of India's needs. Okay, I have 1 minute more, and unlike certain people, I'm not going to overrun my time. India had a trade surplus with Britain throughout. 40% of the exports were industrial exports at the time of independence. Now, I'm not going to go into railways. I mentioned it was the third largest rail network in the world. It increased living standards by 16% in the districts it reached, 16%.